Hey everyone, it's Anastasia, your host for Anastasia's Hump Day Happenings. And this week, I'm going to share 3 tips for how we can get through loneliness during this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to take it from my experience of grief and loneliness because I feel that my grief and loneliness have actually prepared me to work through the pandemic of what we're feeling now. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you felt a variety of emotions from sadness and anger, denial, to anxiety, stress, like you're in a fog even, that you feel just different, like you're living in an alternative universe? If you said yes to any of those emotions are associated with grief and they're associated with loneliness. Both grief and loneliness are unique to each individual. I understand it. I understand what you're going through. I'm going to share my story and share the tips. In 2016, I was so excited to marry the man of my dreams. We were in our late 40s, so we figure we're just gonna get married, the 2 of us, and extend it to our honeymoon. We're out of the country. Before we left the country, we talked to my mom, and we talked to my future in-laws, and we felt blessed, and we were truly blissful. We were blissful. And we got to our destination, and a day later, I got a direct message on social media from my cousin that my mom suddenly, tragically passed away from a pulmonary embolism. So I understand about loss. I understand what it's like to not hug your loved one, not tell them goodbye. I understand what it's like to not hear their voice again, to not see them. I understand what it's like to make funeral arrangements virtually. I understand what it's like to go back and feel so disconnected and so detached. But in understanding that, I also had to learn. And here's what you can do in learning how to overcome this loneliness. The first tip is learning how to like to be alone by yourself. And yes, I wish this was more magical. I wish it was more soulful. I wish this was an epiphany you had never heard of. And it's basically saying, learn to love yourself, self-care. But it's more than that. There's more layers to it. There's more heart to it. If you can't learn to like to be alone with yourself, if you're bored with yourself, then how is anybody else supposed to want to be connected to you? How is anybody else going to want to be around you? So connect with yourself. This is an opportunity for you to connect with yourself. The second tip is learning to release expectations of your friends, of yourself, of your intimate relationships, and of others. Learn to release these expectations with healthy boundaries. Finally, social media, limit your time and go on social media with the intention for 2 things: personal growth and professional growth. Because in 2016, when I'm going through grief and I'm seeking, I'm hoping to look for connections on social media, to not feel so alone. I gotta tell you, it was the worst. It's August, the presidential campaign. We have people who are toxic with the president and their friends. And then they're hijacking your feed with their opinions and their comments. Not acceptable. This is where you release expectations of your friends and you either unfollow them or you unfriend them. You don't need that. Don't need that. So go on with social media with the intention of personal growth, of mindfulness, anything that is positive that will serve you well for your mind, your emotional health, your mental health, and how it will serve you with your career. In times like this, in overcoming loneliness or overcoming the grief of normalcy, of what we had, it's really important that you do these 2 things. Recognize that you must nurture existing relationships or that you must form new ones. Yet the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself. I hope one of these helps you out. Ask me a question, I'll answer it on a future episode. Like this channel and join me every single week. And until next Wednesday, take what you learn and make a difference with it.